If you've got a dollar to spare and you don't know what to do with it, don't spend it on a cut for your hair. Why not spend it on this same old shit? It's patreon.com/shamecity.
The bare necessities, the simple bare necessities.
Hello and welcome to episode 51 of That's a Shame. I am Declan. And with me, sat by my side in
Literally.
one of the oddest configurations of this particular physical relationship we've ever managed to enter into on the podcast live on air.
I'd say so.
Do you want to, Isaac, tell me?
What a confusing run-on sentence that's become. Well, what we've had to do is, you may have noticed, not in episode 50, but in the two before it, since we moved into this flat, that the sound quality, it was diminished, I would say, to put it politely.
I wouldn't have said it was poor.
It's not as bad as it used to be, like episode 1 bad, although I did go back and fix a bit of episode 1.
Yeah.
Not much.
No.
But it was because, well, the first thing, I suppose, is that we did both those episodes with at least one of us quite drunk. But then the second thing is that because we're now in the same flat, it seems somewhat churlish to sit in separate rooms and record, even though that would be better for the audio.
I refuse to do it, like, point blank.
It feels a bit odd. And I think ultimately we'll work out something where we just have like the mics really close and do like low gain. But until then, we're really conscious of like knocking the table because you hear this sound. Horrid, isn't it?
Very.
So what we've done to avoid kicking it, we've got, just to give you a picture, so we're sat with a circular table between two chairs, and rather than them facing each other, we've spun the chairs away. So we're both looking at my wall. Declan's looking out the window, I'm looking at the wall.
It's
and
like
we're just sort of turned to the left.
It's like an Amdram set for a play set in a car.
Yeah. A big car, but a car nonetheless. Yeah, it's like we're doing a shit sketch about like buddies that meet every so
In a
often.
waiting room.
Yeah. Or we're going to do like a really bad handoff of some documents in a spy film. But that's just the lengths we go to for good audio.
Part and parcel of doing the podcast.
Yeah, because now that we enter our second set of 50, should we call 50 the first 50 season 1?
How about you go fuck yourself? I suggested this.
I hate the idea. That was a trap to see if you'd come back to it.
No, I think it is a good idea. Not in any sense that we actually put it on anything, but I think we can consider that season 1.
That's out of the way now.
That's, we had that incredible finale of finishing Proust, I don't know, an hour-long pitch.
That's it.
A little bit about a film that probably none of our listeners have seen.
People want. If you haven't seen it, go and check it out. Patreon.com/shamecity.
Shame City.
But yes, as we enter this new era for That's a Shame, it's almost unfortunate that we didn't start a month and a half later, and then we'd have finished this out as the year finished, because then it would have been like a new year, new That's a Shame. But it's not.
But when we started, we're only doing one a week.
Yes.
So that wouldn't have worked.
I would never have predicted.
B, I never would have predicted we'd have bothered to do 24 episodes, let alone...
Madness, isn't it? It's really very powerful stuff. But what I'm getting at, I guess, is that there are going to be some changes around here. They're going to be subtle. They're going to be so small and minute and tonal rather than, anything you can put your finger on, that to the untrained ear, you could say, well, they've carried on doing the same thing.
It's just the same bullshit.
But you and I and the listeners will all know that everything's just on a really steep upward trajectory towards God.
Well, yeah, we don't like to get above our station on this show, but that's where any upward exponential trajectory is going to end up. Yeah, I suppose so.
Aim high, they say, and where is higher than that?
Aim for the moon and you'll hit God.
Really fucked up Apollo 11 the first time. Neil Armstrong had all kinds of panic attacks en route. We've got, I'm going to say it, quite a show. It's not a hell of a show. It's quite a show.
Oh, I see.
I'm taking a more...
You're doing the
reserved.
undersell, over provide.
That's my angle, because I think previously I could have been accused of the exact opposite of that. When I've really
On
hyped
one
up
or two occasions.
shows that have had no content.
Often ones where you'd had no input into the content and therefore couldn't have known how good or bad it was.
And then you've let us both down. So thanks for that. It's very distracting because I can see through a little crack in my window. Listeners will appreciate this description. There's a little, I've got very garish curtains that came with the flat. They've got butterflies and all sorts of weird things going on. Just like you want. And just through the middle of them, there's a really old woman doing the slowest washing up I've ever seen. Actually, she might not be that old, but she is very slow. Something to enjoy there, listeners. Anyway, coming up, we've got emails. Shame Mail has not been this bloated since its inception.
No.
It's powerful stuff. We've got, how best to explain what we have?
Well, we've got a final closing update on Alan.
Oh, yeah.
And his, I feel, more than criminal
It's
search
taken
history.
a step into abject criminality.
Sometimes it did. There were,
You planned a series of murders.
We'll talk a bit about that because we had some Alan updates offline, didn't we? You and I. I sent you a few things, so we'll finally close off his story.
Yeah. Are you saying he's died or he's in captivity?
To us, yes.
Alan is still at large.
But more than this, we have been sent some documents.
Yes, it's like, I imagine what it must have been like to receive a kind of Zodiac manifesto as a news reporter back in the day.
Or maybe, as a conspiracy theorist, having the JFK papers
released all at once, and you're just combing through there's so much here.
The wonderful Joseph D'Angelo has sent us in a document of such unbridled comedic potential that...
Not to oversell it.
No.
Under promise, over deliver.
He sent us some
bullshit,
rather, mediocre chat.
And we'll see if we can bring it to life anyway.
No, he was very excited about this. He sent it to us almost like a week ago, or he told us about it almost a week ago. And we decided we didn't want to see it until as late as possible.
Day.
Yeah. So we've only just received it, and Isaac hasn't had a look through yet.
No. I've seen the opening.
It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
I'm looking forward to it. Before that, however, it would be remiss of us not to mention, because, I think a point that I started making but never finished in our hour-long pitch in episode 50 was that the reason that we're kind of talking about it at length is not just for the sake of advertising, but also the podcast, if it has a remit, is that it's very, tied to what's going on in our lives.
Yeah.
And I would be lying were I not to say that the highlight of an otherwise fairly dull week. Actually, no, that's unfair. I've had a nice week. And it is only Tuesday, so that's really selling myself short. But one of the highlights, and indeed the most kind of important thing related to the show that's happened this week, has been...
And I would say to me...
In your life.
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's definitely the most... I was thinking about it, and there've been moments in my life, and I haven't, not many because I haven't done that much, but there are a few things where you look and you're like...
You're 25 next
24 at the moment, mate. Don't worry about that. But, there are some things where there's the classic idea that when you win an Oscar, that just sets the bar higher for what you're going to do next. And it's like, but what's going to come next? Now, I'm not comparing our Patreon to winning an Oscar. I'm saying it's better because what is more validating than, I don't know, maybe that's cynical though, because it's not just the financial bit that's validating. It's the fact that people are kind of at all interested in helping out.
I think it's wrong. I think that it is a financial element that makes it, not that the thing we want most from our listeners is money.
No.
But it's that the thing that listeners are least obliged to give to us
That's
for
true.
this
That's a good metric for
is money. And the fact that within a week of launching, within less than a week of launching that, so many of our listeners stepped up to the mark.
Yeah. In just outlandish ways as well.
Preposterously
We're gonna do shout outs. I think we should because one of the things, the rewards is that we just I mean, reward is a very loose term here, but one of the things we said we do is just credit people on the show. That's a very standard thing to do because they are essentially producing this content now in the most realistic way. So we'll do that towards the end after shame mail and stuff. But I've been following, like I said to you, before we launched this, we did loads of research into what kind of things people do because I support a few patrons in my time, Patreons, but not a huge amount. So we looked into like podcasts, kind of the expectations of what you'd be looking at, like when was a good time to launch. Some people come right out of the gate with a like 0 episode launch, well, just when they've started a new show, and then it lingers on no patrons forever.
I think that is tied to launching it.
Yeah.
At episode 0.
It's a big error.
It's just
it makes it look like you're just in it for the money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you probably are.
Probably they are. We looked at smaller shows that have launched more recently and that have, like, we know, you kind of have an idea of people's stats based on where they are on the charts and things like that. So shows with larger audiences that have launched more recently that have done worse on average because our ratio is now so high because we beat. Our goal was like $50. I also added in another goal after that, which was before that. It was a $9 goal, which is how much it would cost for us to buy a pint each every month. So we smashed that. Right,
knocked that out of the park.
And then our $50 goal, which was to kind of break even on show costs in terms of like hosting, our mastering bullshit, our cast stuff, was $50. And we beat that as well. I don't know if it will stay, but it really is quite unprecedented for a new project. There are things like when Game Trailers, that website, shut down, all the team for that put up a Kickstarter like a week later and they got 30 grand in a day or something. But that's something that had existed forever. We've been around for barely 6 months or something. And look, here we are now. How do you feel?
I'm so flattered and I feel exploitative in equal measure.
Yeah, I do feel a little uncomfortable with it. It's quite hard to reconcile the model of like patronage because it used to be the thing, wasn't it? Like if you were Michelangelo, you were just commissioned and you had patrons and benefactors, but it's rather fallen out of fashion with the whole capitalism coming to its fore. But there's something quite nice about the direct culpability and accountability.
Yeah, I was genuinely very touched in a way that I haven't been ever before.
Wow.
That's a good thing for you to clip out and use to haunt me in later life. But yeah, no, honestly, to everyone and anyone who has given thus far or is considering giving.
Yeah, or even if you've just had a look at the page and decided it's not for me.
Anyone who went and had a look at the film trunk video, it means a lot to us.
It does.
We've been messaging each other in such excited fervour.
Just like, oh my
all
God,
week
look
about
what's
it.
happened here. Yeah, it's been very, very odd indeed, but a good sort of odd. And we're going to keep it going. Just as a reminder, and again, this won't come up every week, but there is at least at the $4 level, which is $1 per podcast. What's that in English money? Like 80p? Something like that.
Probably, yeah, about that.
Something tragic like that. Good old exchange rate plummeting against our favour. For that level, you get an extra episode every month. There's going to be a patron-only episode. For double that, so $2 an episode, £1.60-ish. Yeah. Then there's going to be at least 4 mini episodes a month on top of our 4 standard and on top of the patron-only one. It's all out there. Also, I thought we didn't do a very good job of explaining what On the Bench meant, which is the name of our top.
Oh yeah,
top tier.
So one of our favourite shows is the Fox or the FX,
FX.
comedy Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and a line that very much hit home
really
for us
resonated in a big but painful way.
Was in an episode where they're inviting people round or they need help.
I can't remember what it is.
I can't remember which one it is, but essentially they need the main cast need help with something, and they realise that there's only a roster of about 4 people they know who they can get to give them a hand with it. And one of the characters says to the others that, this is the best we've got. We've got a very shallow bench.
So since then, we've been looking for more people to join us on our bench. We realised it was
we've got no subs to come on in the event of injury.
And now we have 5 additions, and one of them is a pangolin. So just think of that. But look, let's get into the meat of this show.
Yes.
I wonder if there's a vegetarian equivalent for saying the meat of a show.
Let's get into the
Pulses.
flesh of this root.
That was horrid.
Let's get into the seeds of this bad boy.
That's very, very gross. Because we've been given, as Declan alluded to, from our friend Danj, a series of images which represent a conversation that took place how long ago? A week?
Yeah, probably just over a week ago.
Between Joe's mother, who you may remember came up with a plaque idea for some trees once in episode 6. And just to refresh, let's just cap that story really quickly. She planted some trees, or some trees have been planted in the garden. Quite rightly, are we going to name her? Let's call her Joe's mum.
She does listen.
Oh yeah, shout out then.
We could call her by her first name, I suppose.
Yeah, Susan.
Susan.
Susan looked at these trees and she thought, there's something missing here. And what it was for her that was missing was a dedication, a plaque.
And that's, fair. Benches and trees throughout the parks of England have in loving memory of,
or even
have
just
a nice little quote.
Tell you a bit about that tree,
In
like
some,
if it was struck by lightning.
In National Trust parks, they sometimes have Stephen Fry's voice out of a little microphone in the bench telling you something about what's going on there. Yeah,
that's unnerving. I wouldn't know.
Stuart Lee's written an article about it. I'll send it.
Has he? I would like that. But Susan went for a sort of different. I think it's fair to say unique approach.
Yeah.
And she picked a quote that one can only assume resonated with her, and what it was.
Well, sort of picked the quote. Didn't necessarily, not necessarily all of it.
Not all of it as we knew it, but it's an interpretation.
Right,
of the quote.
no, of course, yeah.
And what it was who plants a tree? Already a kind of grammatically confusing sentiment, because it's like, who plants a tree? I plant a tree. It's like,
this guy.
It's like a call and response in a really weird herbology rap concert.
You do.
So who plants a tree? And what they do in planting a tree. So you can, I think what's been omitted for poetic effect is
he
or she, one whom plants a tree. What they do is they wink at mortality. And we talked a bit about that phrase and the fact that it means the direct opposite of what the original quote intended it to mean.
Yeah.
It sounds like we've discussed in episode 6. It sounds like a kind of challenge to mortality. Like, go on then. I planted a tree.
Have a go.
What are you going to do? Like it's a Horcrux. And what's great as well is that they're 2 trees and I think next to each other with 2 identical plaques, which is my favourite thing.
Not one between them.
No.
They get one each.
And that's
because if one falls down,
then that's winking at mortality in an even
very
bigger
much.
way. Yeah. So Susan has been in touch with Amazon support.
Yes. Well, you see, Joe decided that he would get his mother a present.
Mm-hmm.
And
what a doting son.
He's a real treasure.
He really is.
And I, despite being told by 3 different people 3 different times, I've forgotten the name of them already, but it's a button.
A dash button.
A dash button, thank you very much, from Amazon.
Now, these are for busy people.
Yes, and they're linked to a specific product, I believe. And essentially, when you realise you're running out and you're going to need some more, you smack that button.
Yeah, like a little game show in your own kitchen.
And it orders it automatically for you. And of course, because you have Prime membership...
Goes without saying.
It comes the next day.
Yeah.
Now...
Or so you'd think.
There's lots of products that you could use this for. Lots of useful things that you might need every now and then.
They're things that you know, that you catch yourself without. Usually it's essentials like, oh, fuck, I've got no, like, dishwasher tablets. I don't know if that's an essential. I think that's revealed that we've become very gentrified in the last 2 weeks.
We're just very much obsessed with our dishwasher.
Yeah, we're just very excited. Even though it's a real bugger to pack that dishwasher.
Yeah.
Doesn't follow any logical constraints.
We've done a good job.
We're getting there. I think by the end of this tenancy, we'll have it down to an art form, but not before. So there are things like dishwasher tablets or like bin bags, washing up liquid and detergent, things like that. Or,
In Susan's case, bottled water.
yeah,
Because what could you need more urgently in a house with, off the top of my head, at a count,
8,000 taps.
yes. What could you be in more need of?
But, you know, to each their own.
Exactly.
I like Evian as much as the next person.
Now, the trouble was, she had a go. She tapped the old dash button.
Yeah.
She
Must
waited.
be very satisfying, I think. I think there
very.
must be something immensely powerful in it.
Although I would feel very nervous about hitting it every time, knowing that there was a button in my house that if I hit it, it cost me money. Like
Yes, it is a shame.
boom.
I think there are
And
several
just like
buttons in our house that do that.
Very
One of them
much.
is the oven, another is the dishwasher,
Don't mention
the
it.
heating.
Wow.
That's right, we'll freeze.
I'm not turning on ever. So she hit the button.
Yeah, it's all gone well so far.
Assumed the water had been ordered, and of course that it would be arriving the next day.
And I think you got an email, or Dan's got an email.
Yeah, Dan's got an email.
There was like, ding, an
Because
order's
they
been placed.
share an Amazon account for reasons I don't want to explore. And he got an email saying that it had been ordered. He
And you'd
was
think-
pleased that the gift was being used.
You'd think that was where the story was going to end.
Sadly, not.
Couldn't be further from the truth.
You see, the thing is Susan waited and waited for her water.
Days turned into weeks. Weeks into years.
Years into probably just a day and a half. And no water came. And so, like
Do you think she
anyone...
hadn't had a drink in the intervening period? It's been so long since the taps. Joseph! I'm winking at mortality!
So, like anyone with an issue with a big company, she got straight onto the online chat,
Yeah.
which I feel has really been the death of customer service rather than the liberation.
It's too easy to hide behind, isn't it?
It's too easy to set up, but then not really deliver on.
Yes. Because they're fielding like 8,000 different comments at once.
Yes, and I think that at the start, I mean, maybe it's just because it's written well, or maybe it's because there's the sentence, I'm Amazon's chat helper. I think you're talking to a robot.
Oh.
I don't know.
I think if you're ever communicating with Amazon, you can be fairly certain it's a robot.
I think that it's a robot, at least to start with. And I think that accounts for the, as you will see, somewhat circular nature of the conversation to begin with.
So what's going to be the delivery method of this? Are you going to
So I'm going to dramatise this by reading both
do you need any
sides.
props? Can I get you anything?
No, they probably wouldn't deliver much to our audience.
I think they would if they can imbue your performance with a certain energy. I'm going to give you something.
What I'll do is I'm going to read the Amazon entries into the conversation
Okay.
in that chirpy customer service delivery voice.
Okay.
And I will read Susan's in a slightly, what I'm going to call monotone misery, which is what I was getting.
You don't think it was a pleasant interaction for Susan? I guess
No.
she's already on the down.
Perturbed.
Yeah, she's been put out.
So, here we go. Hi, thanks for contacting Amazon. I'm Amazon's chat helper. I'm here to answer your questions and get the right person to help you out. As I send you messages, you can tap a button to reply. Go for it. Got it. Okay. And then the bot has sent a picture, maybe even a link, of Evian Sports Cap mineral water, 12 bottles, 750ml.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a recent order. Do you have any questions about this? Yes, ask an associate.
Oh, associate.
Okay, can you enter your phone number for us to call now?
Can I read that out?
Not right now.
Wow.
What can we help you with today? An item I ordered. Let's see. Could you tap the item you're looking for from your recent orders below?
Why does it ask that if it already knew that it was about the bottle of water?
I don't think it knew that it was about that.
was
I
just
think that
suggesting
was
it
an
might be.
example.
Okay.
And as you can see here, and as we might post for listeners,
Unlikely.
Susan has dutifully clicked and sent a nice little image
Very
of
true.
Evian water bottles.
Yeah. It's a nice little speech bubble as well.
It is,
Very
yeah.
pleasant.
All right, I can get someone to help you with that. Do you want to discuss this with an associate?
Hate the word associate.
Ask an associate.
Wow.
Okay, can you enter your phone number for us to call?
Not right now.
Not right now. What can we help you with today?
This is like a nightmare already.
My Evian water has not arrived.
Question mark?
Sorry to hear that. Could you tap the specific item from your recent orders below?
This is horrid. This is so upsetting.
And Susan has again
I can hear like circus music in the background.
dutifully tapped the bottles of Evian. All right, I can get someone to help you with that. Do you want to discuss this with an associate?
Ask.
Not right now.
Oh, that seemed like an error.
It felt like a great way to find yourself at the beginning of this recursion again, as Amazon's messaging assistant
Hi,
asks,
I'm Amazon chat robot.
what can we help you with today?
Oh, no.
My order. Let's see. Could you tap the order you're looking for from your recent orders below?
I like to think that there's only water orders as well.
Just
whatever
water.
one you choose
That's
out of
it.
the last 300.
And again, Susan sends through. The thing is that because you don't see the process of selecting it from the orders,
Yeah.
it just looks like Susan's sending through a picture of Evian water every time.
Just has one prepared.
Please. All right, I can get someone to help with that. Do you want to discuss this with an associate? Ask an associate. Okay, can you enter your phone number for us to call?
Fuck's sake.
Not right now.
This is mad.
What can we help you
Are we
with?
sure there's only one robot involved in this conversation? It's like when you've got two Furbies
yeah.
to talk. See which one threatens the other's life first.
What can we help you with today?
Please select your order.
Has not been delivered.
Okay.
We aren't told what, but I
No.
think she was hoping that the robot would have remembered.
Yeah.
The thing is, the robot asks, sorry to hear that. Could you tap the specific item from your recent orders below?
I hope she sends a different thing.
And again comes through the water. All right, I can get someone to help you with that. Do you want to discuss this with an associate?
If it asks for her phone number again.
Not right now.
What does she mean, not right now?
Right, but here we go. What can we help you with today? Digital services.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if this was out of desperation or
Maybe it was an option
some
you
sort
can
of
click.
fever dream.
Digital services, yeah. It's very broad.
Okay, which of these things do you need help with?
Right.
Susan sends helpfully something else. Do you need help with the App Store or games and software downloads? Chat with a person.
Please.
Okay, I'll get someone to help you here through chat. Okay, get help through chat.
Okay, off you go.
Go ahead and type any details you think would help them understand your issue. At this point, Shashank has joined.
Okay, cool name.
I shan't be doing an accent.
That's for the best.
I'm going to carry on
With the Amazon accent.
with the Amazon accent.
I think that's fair because I'm not convinced they're not going to be a robot as well.
Now, Susan, of course, was asked to type any details that she thought might help
Yeah.
them understand the issue.
She'd probably type like water not arrived.
Shashank joined. My Evian water delivery has not arrived.
Very clearly and succinctly put. may I
Exactly.
say.
Hi, Joseph. Please let me look into this.
Okay.
Joseph, as I can see that this order has been delayed by the carrier, but please do not worry. I have instructed the carrier to deliver this on priority.
Mm-hmm.
Where is it then?
Oh.
It's in transit now, and you'll get an update on this soon. I've raised the issue to the concerned team, and we are looking into this. Up until what time is delivery? As I have already asked the carrier on this, you'll soon get an update from them. And to make up with the inconvenience, I've extended your Prime membership for a month.
That's
now,
what
that's
they did
what
to
I
you.
got, and it's bullshit. Hope this helps, he says. Prime membership should have been delivered this morning, says
I
says
see.
Susan.
Not the extended membership, like some precog.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
they knew it was going to be late.
I can totally understand the concern here.
To be honest, I cannot.
Garant next day delivery.
Garant.
Yes, Susan asks.
Yeah.
Um,
guaranteed.
I
maybe?
assume.
I see. Hard to tell without seeing it.
Being an online company, we rely on our carriers to deliver the items, and I know they have led us down this time. Please accept my apology for this.
No.
No space where to be seen, asks Susan.
Asks. Nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be seen?
Referring to the water or the apology?
Goodness
Or both.
only knows.
That's what I like, though. Ambiguous.
You'll soon get an update with the exact delivery details.
Oh, I remember him saying that.
From who? Disappointing?
Why so many questions?
I don't know. It's a theme that continues.
Mm-hmm.
I have as led the carrier to update you.
Okay.
I assume he meant
I
asked.
would hope so.
Not as efficient as I'd hoped. I like to imagine that she was being kind of really patronising and was expecting him to answer like, no, not as efficient as you'd hoped. but he just wasn't playing ball. Yes, it is disappointing, Joseph, but I'll make sure you don't face this issue in future.
How? He just said he has no control over it.
Being a water delivery.
Have you heard of taps? Being a water delivery, have you considered not buying bottles of water?
That was from Susan.
Oh, was it?
Being a water delivery.
Is that a book she's working on? A little poetic piece? Another plaque?
It's a yoga stance, I think, the water delivery. Will it be with me today's?
No.
Joseph.
What time in the day was this?
This was at 5:43
That's
PM.
wishful thinking, isn't it? Yes, it'll be there in 1 minute. If you turn your tap on now, you'll receive Evian direct from the source.
I think that Shashank was getting annoyed.
Really?
I think Shashank, well, you know,
I doubt he's
in
being paid enough
the
for that.
only way that customer service can, which is by using your name again and just repeating what they've said before.
Yeah.
Joseph, you'll soon get an update on this, as I have already asked the carrier of this item to send you an update. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll keep a check on it. Thanks.
And that should have been the end.
You're welcome. Is there anything else I can help you with at this moment? That's all for now, says Susan, prophetically.
Oh no.
Thank you for contacting Amazon. Have a lovely day. At this point, Shashank leaves the chat, and Amazon thanks Susan
The robot
/ Joseph for contacting Amazon.
That's lovely.
Now, there's a gap in time of exactly 1 hour.
Right.
Shashank's final message was at 5:44. At 6:44, the messaging assistant from customer services messages. Hi, it's Amazon's messaging assistant again. Then sends through a link to Evian Sports Cap mineral water, 12 bottles, 750 milliliter.
Right.
Okay, so here's a recent order. Do you have any questions about this?
Why is Amazon's robot getting in touch out of the blue?
I assume because Susan logged
She's
back into
requested
the
another.
chat.
Oh, I see. I've never used this.
Yes, ask an associate.
Oh god, here we go. Strap in, gang.
Okay.
8 rounds of what phone number?
Can
and
you
when do
enter
wanna
your
call?
phone number for us to call? Not right
no,
now.
This is just like being stuck in purgatory.
What I want to know is, did Susan not remember that this was a vector that failed somewhat dramatically last time to get her anywhere close to what she wanted for at least 10 minutes? What can we help you with today? I even get the feeling the robot's getting exasperated at this point. Still have not received my evidence-water delivery or any new updates.
Evidence water.
Yes.
That's a horrible term. That's like something they auction off at the police station.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that. Could you tap the specific item from your recent orders below?
No. At this point, Susan cancelled her Amazon account.
It just feels like this is far too blunt a tool to get through. There's so much left as well. Like, there's so much to get through. We got another hour's worth of chat.
Well, give us some highlights.
All right, I can get someone to help you with that. Do you want to discuss this with an associate? not right now.
Hashtag not right now.
What can we help you with today?
It's like
Susan's I wonder
following...
what the title of today's episode is going to be.
Just writes itself, this stuff, doesn't it? It's like she's following... You know, there are those websites where it's like how to get to a person as quickly as possible. So like if you're calling BT, it says ignore what it says, just press star and then say speak to an operator, and it like bypasses the whole system. It's like she's following... You know, the pronunciation videos on YouTube, how they're all like indictment, and then one of them will be like indicament. That one is just trolling. Yeah. It's like she's found the one website that's just taking the piss. It's like, what you want to say is not right now to everything. It gets you straight through to Jeff, the head of Amazon.
What can I help you with today? My water delivery? I'm not
Sounds like a birth.
Messaging assistant comes back with something I think we can all agree with. I'm not sure what you mean. Do you want to discuss this with an associate? Yes, ask an associate.
Okay, good.
Okay, I'll get someone to help you here through chat. Okay, get help through chat.
Doesn't the word associate make them sound like Amazon cares about them rather than exploits them at below minimum wage outsourced labour?
Yeah.
It's a shame, isn't it?
Go ahead and type any details you think would help them understand your issue.
Fucking water!
Now, last time,
Yeah.
Susan, she kept a cool head.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Collected.
Very calm.
And she said, my Evian water order has not been delivered.
Yeah.
Something along those lines. I feel as though an hour and a half on, she's...
well, she's parched at this point.
Very much.
She's seeing mirages all over the living room.
Her
trying to drink the
throat
carpet.
is scratching. And so she hasn't got time for any of that. So what she says is, my order.
Okay.
That's
order.
everything she needs help with. Hello, Susan.
Wonder how it knows that now, but not last time.
I should probably put her name in.
Oh, that could be it.
Tayab here.
Mm-hmm.
Water Evian.
That's not how you have a conversation.
Has not arrived yet. Still no updates either on the delivery.
Right.
I'm sorry that you didn't receive your order. Should have been here today.
Not wrong.
Just to confirm, are you referring to order number and then a string of numbers?
Yep.
Prime customer delivery. Evian water.
Wow.
Should have been today. Yes. Can you check where it is? Now, Tayab follows up with a very extensive apology. Mm-hmm. Says he's going to personally follow up on that in the next 24
That's so
hours.
Nice of him, actually.
Now,
above and beyond.
Instead of accepting this apology or responding to it, Susan bursts in with some brand new information.
Okay.
I have just had an update stating that I requested reschedule. This is not true for my science water delivery.
Science. It's gone from being evidence water to science water. She's just got so many uses for Evian. Who knew it was such a versatile drink?
Then, what I want to know, and look, this isn't to cast any aspersions. Uh-huh. I just wonder if maybe between 6 or between 5:44 and 7:13, where we are now, if Susan had maybe to calm the nerves,
or maybe just with dinner,
had maybe just a glass of wine.
Yeah, as you might.
Because she gets. You know, I'm not, again, throwing aspersions around. Mm-hmm. She
gets
a bit feisty.
The greatest of respect for Susan.
Exactly. She's an idol in all our eyes.
Yes.
But she gets a bit feisty, perhaps unnecessarily. I don't think Tayab himself was...
He wasn't ready for it.
...was being particularly accusatory. Also, the spelling gets, at some points, a little bit questionable.
Well, it might. It's the rage, isn't it?
Out of anger, yeah. For my science water delivery, then a very... angry message, very defensive. What proof do they have?
Susan's taking this to court.
To say I requested this? My water delivery. I expected it. You day but no Tom.
Okay. So she's changed languages here. It's an interesting method.
Yes. I'm not sure quite what to. Is that Romanian?
I think it's, you know...
You day but not vodvom.
Listeners can advise. I think it might be a conlang that Susan's made up herself.
Exactly.
Like Vulcan.
Tayab, I think, is somewhat confused and decides to
understandable.
stall with, let me check this for you, Susan.
What is he checking? What
I mean,
that
that's
means?
better. Like, what would you say to that? Today, not tomorrow? The parcel has been received by the carrier. Lease, do not worry. It will be delivered to you at the earliest.
Mm-hmm.
This is outrageous. Carrying on.
Outrageous. I can't
on.
imagine anything involving Evian being described as outrageous. Just on principle. It'd be outrageous if an Evian factory exploded and crushed a whole country's worth of children.
It wasn't even a day late at this point. Like, it's the point.
The same day.
I'll personally follow up on this order so that it is delivered to you within next 24 hours.
That's nice.
Not 24 hours. It should have been today.
But what I don't understand is that as it wasn't today, and today is now coming to a close, hurtling towards a finishing line, surely you'd have to just cast your mind like, well, it's not great that it wasn't today. I was hoping to do all sorts of science with this evidence water.
Yeah.
But we have to look to the new dawn for the Evian's arrival.
I will contact the carrier and speed up the delivery.
That's a lie. That's not a thing, is it?
No. Quick,
Imagine if there was
speed,
a button.
speed!
You just hear a like gentle as it breaks the sound barrier.
I request a refund for the inconvenience this has caused.
Ooh.
As I have been home all day. Imagine staying home all day waiting for water that you could get from a tap or a shop anywhere
so
in the world.
That's lovely. I mean,
What's the danger of a box of water being left outside anyway?
don't know what happened to that science water. Someone else might do their experiments with it. I don't. Again, like with the best of wishes to Susan and the greatest respect, I'm going to say that I don't believe that she waited in all day just for the water. I think she might have been overstating, as anyone would, to just try and thrust for the refund.
I'm really sorry that you have not received it today. And lost a day waiting for delivery. Specified for today.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I assure you that you will get that by tomorrow. That is not the point, says Susan, in that stern schoolmistress kind of vibe.
Not the point.
I would like to issue a promo credit of 5 GBP.
How much do we think this water probably was? How many bottles? 12?
12.
And we're looking at, what, £1 a bottle? I don't buy water.
Yeah, I mean, in bulk like that, probably
tenner?
Like 8 to 10 quid.
Shall I look it up?
Yeah, have a look.
12 Evian science water. This is on my supermarket.
Delivered
look at Amazon.
Today.
So for a pack of... Oh, it was not 500 mils, there was it? It was more.
It was 750ml.
Oh, wow. That's a very specific order because that's hard to find.
Wait, hang on. Scroll down.
750.
Wasn't that box there?
No, it wasn't.
On the on the right.
This. Where? Here.
I think that's it.
6? No, that's 24.
Oh, I see. So it's half
Pack
of that.
of 12 is £14.59. Jesus.
Wow.
£15.
That's more than £1 a bottle.
That's mad.
That's nonsense. Susan.
Don't accept.
Susan. Drink from the fucking tap, please.
If you start drinking from the tap just every other bottle, think of all the Patreon dollar you could send our way. Especially after this.
Think of all the time you'd have saved Shashank and Tyab.
But also, in that context, a refund or a credit of
£5.
That's taking the piss.
I mean, he calls it a goodwill gesture. I think it's taking the piss.
I think I'd push him out the window as soon as I look at him.
I think Susan's on our side on this one. I have a Dash Evian app, so it's guaranteed next day? Yes, as promised. You will get it within 24 hours. So why didn't it get here today?
I feel like
you keep saying that,
just like,
but this is not the point.
I think his posture, if this was a conversation in real life, he's got like palms out and he's just like, please, Mrs. Susan, please, it's fine.
I am sorry for that I have contacted the carrier to deliver it more faster.
Okay, another line.
Bad customer service, bad delivery, bad reputation for Amazon?
Question mark?
Double question mark.
Oh, wow.
This will be my... This At this point, I like to imagine Joe sitting at home reading this somewhat
Because
despondently.
it's his cat as well.
This will be my last time I will order with my Dash Evian button, as it not reliable enough for me.
Great present, Joe. Let's kick that into
She's
the ditch.
fucking ripped it off
Let's
the wall.
smash that with a hammer.
Straight in the bin. What I love is that she assumes that for some reason it's the
button
button
that's
that
the fault.
if she just goes onto Amazon and orders it, it won't be the
Yeah.
exact same process,
It's
but
because
more
of the.
cumbersome.
Think how long it took for the signal to send from the button to her phone to
Oh,
the.
God.
Could have been in months.
I am really sorry, Susan. I would request you to wait till 24 hours. So it seems that was she even waited a whole day?
It sounds to me like.
It feels to me like she ordered it this
You
day.
think it was the same day?
I know she's
Wow.
saying should be here today, like ordered within one day, but I think maybe she ordered it that morning.
Do you think it might have been same day rather than next day?
Maybe Dange oversold the button.
It's like, yeah, it arrives in minutes. You'll have all the Evian you could ever need. Evidence flowing out of
Susan's
your
just
house.
smashed, like, massively every second. And I will be making an official complaint about the delivery service.
To who? Ofcom.
This is my favourite bit of the conversation so far, because it's the ultimate resignation from Tyab,
Yeah.
and then the ultimate like refusing to let go of the issue
Mm-hmm.
from Susan. You will surely get your item. That's for sure.
Wow. By hook or by crook, I will have my Evian.
Yes, sure, I will pass your feedback, but you are missing the point. If my complaint and make that late delivery will not happen again in future.
This is like watching Gollum and Smeagol.
Well,
while
it
Declan
don't.
delivers this.
Well, it don't, as I will cancel my prescriptions with Amazon,
Prescription.
as I needed water for medical reasons.
So the Evian has taken the role of a prescription drug now.
Yes,
Is Susan addicted to
to
Evian?
water.
To its specific calcium balance?
And it did not arrive. This is great. So I had Yo venture out and buy some.
Adventure. Like she lives in the middle of
Like it's
the
a
forest.
quest.
I had to travel to Mordor to get this water. Fucking giant spider attacked me.
Then, what's the point? Not very happy.
Not very happy.
Good night.
Ooh.
I am really sorry.
She said
This is really good. This is like the end of a play. This is like she's had a big
yeah.
monologue to end. Said good night.
There would have been like a brilliantly awkward, like
Yeah.
long silence now.
And then she's walking away. She's walking off stage,
Yeah.
and Tyab's there. I am really sorry. This will not be repeated. 9 November 2017, 6:53:53 p.m. Croydon, Great Britain. The customer requested the appointment to be rescheduled. 9th November 2017, 6 o'clock, 53:51 p.m. GB. Customer has requested the shipment to be delivered at a different date. Parcel will now be delivered on the requested date. He looks after her. He calls out. He
Hoping
wants
that
her.
his words will affect some change.
I could check that the request was there for the delay of order.
She hasn't turned back yet.
He looks on longingly.
Arm outstretched.
Blackout. Curtain falls. Audience in rapturous applause.
How could it end there? They think. 5 stars, writes Michael Billington. A tour de force. Evidence water flowed like nectar from the gods.
Susan's performance really capturing
Outrageously
the anger of the
questioning.
everyman in the face of the corporate
Evian
monolith.
Everyman could be the name of the play.
Oh, I like that.
That's very nice. Well, I think we can sympathise with elements of both of the characters, and I guess that's the element of
That's
of
arc,
all good
isn't
art.
it?
Yeah.
I mean, some things that we need to know from Dange for next time, so that we can get back to our listeners who, of course,
On the edge of their
are on the
seats.
edge of their seats. wanting
Probably
to know.
some of them have already started writing their own stories based on this, drawing fan art, coming up with set design,
Yeah.
talking to Ian McKellen's people, see if you're playing.
If you do the voice of the Evian water,
I've not arrived. It's been 24 minutes.
I'll be here tomorrow.
You did Dumbledore.
I did, yeah.
Yes, on
I
Harry Potter.
automatic. Hello,
I'm a big monkey.
was Dumbledore.
I look like a primate.
I am a chimpanzee from the future.
If you don't know what that is referring to,
We'll
just
link
Google
it.
images.
We'll link it
we'll
on
put
the
it
site.
Shame City, have a look.
Welcome to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and
Hello,
Wizardry.
Harry. Go and collect the puffin from the forest.
There's something to do with fire.
I've kidnapped your friend Ron. I touched his leg.
I got this dragon in the fire. If you can collect 5 fire seeds, I'll be able to break law and give birth to a dragon or something like that. We haven't really got the rights.
We've made up a baffling story. Oh dear. Yeah, so we need to know,
Did
has it arrived?
the water arrive?
And if it arrived, indeed when it arrived, did Susan just kick it back into the street? I like to think she was physically abused the postman as if it was his fault, as if she thought it was tired
Yeah.
himself by personally take care of. She thought he was like running out of his little Amazon workstation, getting some water from his shop and like barreling down to Croydon to hand deliver it. Here you go. And then she just beats him over the head with it. 750 mils.
In
would be
what
damning.
state is the dash button?
How many pieces?
Have you convinced her to use it again? Susan, yourself, get in touch. Tell us, what was going on behind the scenes of this conversation. We've got a very blunt tool to dissect this interaction,
Yeah.
and perhaps you can get in touch and
We
let
need the
us know more.
psychology.
What on earth were these medical reasons that the tap could not cure?
The precise magnesium balance that only Evian has solved. Only the Alps can provide. Yeah, it really asks a lot of questions, and I thought you did justice to it in the reading. I think if you have any auditions coming up, I would recommend don't skimp. All 30
that.
photos of it. It shows range, it shows anger, it shows questioning.
Very much. It's an interrogative.
Yeah, certainly.
Conversation.
And it's always moving forwards as well. That's what I liked about it. Now, shame mail.
Do you want to do Shame Mail or do you want to do Alan Update first?
Well, how long is an Alan update?
It's not very long. I've only got 5 or 6
Okay,
things
that's
from
fine.
him. I stuck to the worst of it this time because we all know Alan's classics.
If you
by
don't,
now.
what episode should people revisit?
Goodness me, is
17?
it 17? I think clear internet search help.
Yeah.
And then Chaos. I think it is episode 25. I think I did an update on him then. This is really to close off the Alan
yeah,
story.
because you no longer have any affiliation to the hotel.
No, I'm just waiting for that final paycheck to come through, which I'm sure it won't, and I'll have
Since
to go
you've
back and
slagged them
fight
all off.
them. So I'm just waiting for that. But otherwise, I don't work there. Mark's last shift was yesterday.
Oh.
No, it was today. No, it was yesterday.
Okay, this
Yes.
is like Dash Button 2.0.
Was yesterday.
Same day shift.
So I did collect this update a little while ago.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not the final instalments of Alan's actual search history.
However,
but I feel like this is enough for us to.
It's
close with.
reassuring for me to know that if this is in the past, I've certainly not seen him in the news.
No,
since
exactly.
then.
That is
so
good.
either he's still at large
Yeah.
and kind of flying under the radar with his crime, or he's just a nice man and we've kind of libelled him on it.
I'm certain that it's the second.
Yeah?
No, he is a lovely man, and he has, I've learnt a lot from him. In
Yeah?
the 3 times I've met him.
How to tie up children.
But he does.
the West Roy slip.
He's been really helpful to me in the time that I worked there, and always covered me when I needed it.
That's good.
Which is good, and I'm sure that he'll go on to do great things, if not infamous ones.
He'll have a Wikipedia page one way or another.
Yeah. So I collected this, and like I said, we all know Alan's classics, fight videos.
Yeah. Racially questionable fight videos being a
Often
subcategory
so,
of that.
yeah. Some obscure music that I haven't really talked about a lot, but there was just no time.
Fair.
He
He
likes.
can't get enough of when
Weather.
the wind blows in the wrong direction.
Well, that comes back.
Oh, no.
Sexy Weather Girls, or indeed Rachel Riley
From Countdown.
on there. Now, off screen, off air, as I should say, sorry. I've sent a few updates through where he's been looking at lots of videos about flick knives, which has been a shame.
Little concern.
Him searching for specific London addresses.
Yep. Problematic.
But we haven't heard about them in the news, so...
No.
You know, at worst, it seems thus far he's living out a fantasy.
If we have any law enforcement listening who have some stuff that has yet to be released to the press, do get in touch and we'll be a kind of facilitator, a middleman between you and Alan's inevitable justice.
I will throw him under the bus. So here we go. This is where we end, and it is a fittingly troubling set of
Good.
Set of
I'd expect
entries.
nothing less and nothing.
We've got a touch of everything here.
It's like he knew that this was going to be the final update. It's like his love letter to you, to this show, to our audience.
And a more haunting love letter never there was. So we'll start with some of the more downplayed ones, the more innocuous.
Yep.
Wind does whatever it wants.
Right.
That was the entirety of the title.
Doesn't it always?
It does, but I think again that we've learnt enough.
So you think what the wind wants in this instance
Is
kind
exactly
of tied
the
into
same.
what Alan wanted?
The Venn diagram was indeed just a circle.
And what it wanted was a bit of upskirt, we can
Yeah.
assume, based on Alan's previous history.
It perhaps fed on from sexiest weather forecast ever.
Michael
Now,
Fish.
what I like about that is it's not forecaster.
No.
It's that the forecast itself
Sun's
was
going to be
sexy.
gorgeous today, lads. Better
The
get out
snow's
there.
got its tits out and everything. Now, from there, though, those were just the warm-up to tease you, to lull you back into Alan's world.
That's what he does.
But he very much slaps you in the face with some more madness. He spent 40 years alone in the woods, and now scientists love him.
It makes it sound like he went to scientists before. It was like, hey guys, got anything for me? And they were like, well, how long have you spent in the woods exactly? So, oh, well, I don't know. I went on a school trip once, did a bit of wall climbing and that. No, fuck off. 40 years minimum, and now they can't get enough.
It sounds like this man is Sasquatch. And they're like, oh, brilliant. He's back. He's come out.
It's very odd.
Alone in the woods. What was it? Why? I mean, I know
exactly
that's the
could he-
point of clickbait, but why what could they possibly love
Unless he
him
was
for?
born, the 40 years were like 0 to 40, and he's like a feral
Well, his
child.
mum birthed him and then just left him. Literally just walked
He
away.
was raised by the trees, and he's probably part tree.
It's fucking
That's it.
Mowgli.
He thinks he's a leaf.
Not that he was raised by leaves, he was raised by wolves. But in the jungle, woods,
Yeah.
they're the same.
Basically,
Yeah.
it's all green.
Now, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 left.
Right.
This mom bought a robot nanny.
Okay.
Now, you might think that was the end of the title, but there's just a comma.
Mhm.
Space. Watch what the nanny does to the baby.
Oh no, it shoves it in a disk drive.
Puts
Tries
it
to
in,
interface
I thought
with
you were
it.
going to say dishwasher.
No, I was thinking that the nanny, if it's a robot, probably thinks the baby's some kind of machine as well. And probably tries to like
I
plug
think
it
it's
into
like
something.
rationalised the idea of youth.
Yeah, as like just being a baby machine that's
Right.
yet to be realised fully.
God,
That's
that's a
100%.
horrific vision of the future
Well,
you've got there.
thank you. I'm working on my Black Mirror pitch.
Comes from
as
some
we
sort of
speak.
Freudian desire to go into your own computer.
Just
dive into it like
straight
Mary
through the
Poppins.
USB tray.
Some sort of horrid 21st century.
What if you came back to the flat and like my door was slightly open and you could hear a faint like knocking and you came in and had like one leg inside?
I was thinking more that you just had your head inside like Sylvia Plath style,
Either way, I mean,
just kneeling on the
It'd
floor,
be time
arms
to-
outstretched.
it'd be time to reassess who's the lead tenant in this tenancy agreement for the good of all of our health.
I'd be like worried that I had no password access to our cast at all. No way to get word out
Perhaps
to
this
all our listeners.
all done.
Now the final three are much more worrying.
Uh-huh.
Oh no, sorry. There's 4 left.
Okay.
And the one that I'd skipped over here is perhaps the most worrying. Of
Good.
all. So we start with The, I'm going to say bluntly named.
Mm-hmm.
Woman takes a dump in the middle of a store.
That's horrid. Why is he watching that?
Why do you, consciously click on that?
That's just upset me, Alan. That's one of those that means I've just lost all respect for him again.
Well, don't be prepared for it to come back anytime soon.
Thoroughly not.
As the next one on the list is, why do white girls date black men? 3 question marks. Confession time! 3 exclamation marks.
Alan.
Now, it's interesting that confession is a word which implies a crime has been committed.
And in Alan's mind, I'm certain that there has been one. Only flick knives and robot nannies working together in a horrid army could resolve.
You think that he believes these white girls to be race betrayers?
I think so.
Race traitors.
Yeah. Absolute treachery for Alan.
He'd rather they were taking dumps in stores.
Yeah, he's like, take me back to the old days. A woman was a woman.
Back in the day.
A white was a white. And a store was but a toilet.
The final 2.
Mm-hmm. He's going to have to work hard to bring me back on side.
He's not. He's, if anything, worked hard to push you further away. Now, this one was interesting. It caught my eye because it starts fairly innocuously. I thought it might be just a nice, fun clip from The Chase, maybe.
That sounds like Alan.
But then it takes a turn.
Yeah.
And in 5 further words, manages to really lose me to the point that I don't know what the relation is between the items either side of this colon.
Okay.
Bradley Walsh.
Yeah.
British quiz show host.
Yeah, he used to be in EastEnders or something like that. Yeah.
Bradley Walsh, : thrush, stumble, and biting minge.
Oh, no. That's upsetting, isn't it? Because too many reasons, if I'm honest. There's just too much to unpack. I feel defeated. The sheer exercise and the vocabulary that would have to be used to discuss such an unpleasant collection of characters escapes me.
What I like is about it, well, like's the wrong word.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I hope so.
But after, Bradley, I don't know what the relation is, like I say. I hope
it sounds like it's his autobiography chapter, isn't it? This is like a day in the life.
But after they've said Bradley, they've got 3 items, and it's the arrangement of them.
What was the middle one?
Well, this is it. Thrush, they start with. You're like, oh.
Well, I thought maybe it was going to be him talking about birds. But with the context of the third one, becomes far more yeast-based.
Thrush, stumble. So you think then maybe it's not all that bad. Maybe it's, the first one's questionable, but the second, maybe bringing him back.
It sounds like he's doing a weird panto of Snow White and he's got 3 oddly named dwarves. It's Thrush, Stumble,
Bradley
and
Walsh
Biting.
on the town with Thrush, Stumble and Biting Minge.
That would be a hell of a show.
Goodness me. But then, to close with Biting Minge.
It's not.
Biting. Minge.
Maybe it means something we don't know about. Maybe it's in Alan's world, it's a term.
It's a term for taking your sister to the woods for 40 years.
Oh dear.
Okay. Now, the last one.
Yeah.
The last one, I hate. I hate it so much. And I hate it because of all of the choices of vocabulary in it. There are 2 particular words in this.
Are they going to upset me?
Oh, definitely.
Good.
And it's their juxtaposition here that particularly irks me. We start again. Warning, graphic. :
Nice of them to warn us.
And also, I don't want to think this about an old man that I know. I don't want to know that he's watched this. But he has.
And he's downloaded it, I bet, as well. That looks like he's about to be sick.
I am.
That's upsetting.
No, okay. I'm sorry, listeners. Okay, here goes. Do not corrupt your seed.
Oh,
What?
that's horrid.
While on NoFap!
Oh.
Exclamation mark.
Do not
Corrupt.
It's written like a biblical commandment that God made about Reddit. In case you don't know.
That Moses dropped.
And I really hope for your sakes that you don't know. But NoFap is a community on Reddit and on other sites. Don't think it comes from Reddit originally. Could be wrong. That encourages men to like reclaim. It has this weird spiritual element about it that's like the essence of your masculinity is lost through masturbation. And it sees itself as quite a progressive idea that actually just goes back to like Onan in the Bible. It's like they've gone so far forward that
they've just gone back in time.
And they're actually arguing.
Guys, you've got so much to learn.
Yeah, it's the same with like incels. Incels been banned by now. We haven't mentioned that because we're going to do a deep dive, and maybe we can still talk about them in hindsight because they'll scurry to new little alleys. But they see themselves as so forward thinking about like how modern society has disrupted gender roles and made it so that a man isn't a man anymore and that no one's fucking these ugly skull cells, but that they go so far back to like, well, women should have no rights then. It's obviously the way. There's a weird like returning character to these things.
Oddly kind of cyclical.
Do not corrupt your seed.
Corrupt your seed. Like corrupt.
Very upsetting.
But seed.
I know.
It's horrid.
It makes me imagine like someone ejaculating grass seeds.
Yeah. It sounds like it makes semen sound like a kind of Pokemon move.
It sounds like it would just come out as loads of grains.
Bulbasaur used ejaculate.
Oh dear. Well, I'm traumatized by Alan. I hope you are as well. It's kind of a good metric. I guess if you're immune to Alan's search history, think you might have gone too far in life. You might want to dial
You might want
back.
to take a step back from the internet for a while.
Just for everyone's
But
good.
also, don't go outside and talk to real people because
That can be dangerous as well.
Yeah.
Some of them will be Alan in real life as well. Corrupting his seed all over
the
West
fucking
Voice
keyboards.
Oh dear. We should go on to shame mail, but I have to go, I think. So we might have to do a small shame mail tomorrow.
Okay, that sounds
time.
right. Yeah.
I'm going to stop them.
All right.
So we're back. It's the next day. I went to the theatre and now I'm back from the theatre and a day has elapsed, but we're carrying on with the show. And, you know, some shows that perhaps paid more attention to slickness, they would have just cut out the whole bit where it was like, oh, I have to go now.
Yeah.
Let's cut off.
And we've done that before.
Yeah, but now I've thought, what about if we just are true to life?
Is that a season 2 theme?
It's going to be about matching the show with our reality.
As
and
little
meshing it together.
As little editing as
That's
possible.
the one! Oh. Welcome back. Happy Halloween. So we've got shame mail for you. Then we've got some thanks. Whatever else happens, then we're off out of this world for a week.
Out of this odd side-by-side setup.
Yes, I need to tell you more.
Re-established.
So our first email, we've got a few to sit through, but I shouldn't say sit through, so that makes them sound dull. They're great, okay? A few to enjoy. Patreon donation is the subject line of Noah's email. Now, this followed, Noah was the first person to pledge on the Patreon.
He was.
And we were quite taken aback because it was a lot. It was a lot more than we were expecting.
It was a lot more than we were expecting in total.
Yes.
In the first...
In the next
year. Yeah.
But Noah followed through. He knew that it would have blindsided us, I think.
Yeah, I think he assumed that we would have thought that it was some sort of hoax.
Yeah, or financial error. Like he forgot to carry something. I only donated so much because I'm not entirely sure you have other listeners, says Noah. Haven't got in touch for a while because laziness. Hopefully we'll do so more after the semester. Well, that's lovely, isn't it?
Well, it's good to know that he suffers from the same condition as us.
Yep. And
as I said, it was in my response to him that his generosity is eclipsed only by his lack of faith in us.
Yeah.
Which is
what a
reassuring.
Then Dange, good old Dange, off of Susan's son. You may remember from earlier in this episode. That's yesterday for us.
But we still remember.
That's the kind of mixed reality we need to get used to. He emailed in one of those emails that has only a subject line and no message.
I'm always intrigued by these. I think he was inspired by
Morangutan
Morangutan.
and Pingoose and things like that.
Yeah.
Planet of the Shapes.
We'll move on. Thank you, Dan.
Yes, thank you. Now, Toby Milestone's king, as you would expect from hitting number 50, old Milestones, M. Stone, as we like to call him.
He can't help himself.
He has piped up in a big way. On Proust, he says. I'm not sure whether you're at the end of Proust's magical literary adventure or not, but I did want to make it clear, in honour of your 50th episode, how much I hate the questionnaire. You usually say the question is a bad question. True.
Yeah.
So I have to ask, why are you doing it? If they're bad questions, he offers, don't do them. Simple. And it's so long, it never ends. Well, it has ended.
It has
now.
ended.
And I think you'll come to regret, you'll come to long and yearn for it in a way that...
When we're on
absent.
season 4,
Yeah.
you'll look back on the days of Proust, because by then, let me tell you, listeners, it's
I'll
gonna
have
be
run out of anything to
fucking
say.
mental.
I hope Proust, or whatever cock was pretending to be Proust, is burning in hell on a bonfire of their own stupid questionnaires. 3 out of 10 bring back inane cult stories. That's a strong angle for Hooked, though.
What I think is we need
Make
to get
Noah and
Toby
Toby
and
fight.
Noah in a room. Yeah.
Fight for the final feature. Now, this one, I didn't know who this was from. Ollie, he's called. Subject, none. That's interesting. That caught my eye.
Oh, he doesn't have time for that.
I was initially sceptical about listening to 2 hours of Declan being a twat, but it turns out I love listening to 2 hours of Declan being a twat. Keep up the good work, Ollie XX. Now, my first criticism is that he has omitted an integral part of the show in this
What's
analysis.
that? Oh, the dog
No.
from the
not-
artwork.
No, not the dog.
The
Not-
theme music.
Not the music. More the
The
key
Twitter.
player. The
The
voice.
microphone.
That's the
You're
one.
right.
If you're not going to give a shout out to old Blue Yeti, which sounds like Paul Chandler's like co-host, Shy
His
Yeti,
frigid
Blue Yeti.
co-host.
No, that's the mic. So this is someone you know from uni.
Yes, I lived with Ollie in first year in Halls. He
And had
lived
you
2
heard
doors
from him
down.
recently?
Not at all. It was,
this came as
it
a
was quite out of
surprise.
the blue. I was pleased to hear from Ollie. Ollie plays the harp, and so was often seen like
Playing
dragging it around campus. He looked like he was sort of advertising Guinness or something like that, just all the time. But
He made it sound less like to concerts and more like that's part of his training.
just liked it.
He just like it's a weight.
He couldn't. He didn't feel safe leaving it in LePage.
He needs to
so
show it who's boss before he can properly finger it.
yeah. What to say?
That's what it's called.
But I have fond memories of waking up in LePage, which often was a horrid experience. But
LePage was your accommodation.
yes, was sometimes lightened by the fact that I would wake up to the Jurassic Park theme being
that's
plucked out
nice.
on the harp. But then there was a time when he was playing a part in a very important concert somewhere, and he had one bit to rehearse that. I don't know. I feel like he had it nailed after 1 week, but turned out after 4 months, he still needed
gotta practice it.
to practice this bit that essentially involved just going up a scale. It seemed to me. It was like dun 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 dun.
Oh, so he was doing the sound effects for a silent movie.
That's him. Yeah.
As Buster Keaton climbed the stairs.
And so, at any moment of any day, you could hope to walk past his
That put
room.
me on
That
edge.
was it. Coming out.
Well, maybe if Ollie is still listening, if he's liked it, you being a twat enough for to bother continuing, he could send us a little audio clip of that and we can just chuck it in.
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Podcast Pangolin has been in touch. Now, we hadn't heard from the pangolin for a while.
We were getting worried.
I'd assumed it was just a hibernation thing. Not knowing much about pangolins, I just kind of guessed that they fuck off for a few months every year.
And after our fun joke where we pretended that we'd forgotten to mention the pangolin in episode 50, but then of course, psych,
There it was.
brought the
Right
pangolin back.
Good news, fellow mortals. So this is the vessel.
Yes, of course.
I bring word from the podcast Pangolin. Such begins the quote. Dearest audio babies, I apologise for my absence. It has been a long, arduous time for myself as a pangolin. I do not wish to go into it. Okay. Sounds like we were about to, if we were at a cocktail party and he said that, we were like, oh, so what's... I do not wish to
go into it.
But it involves many termites and some fiery fire ants. I'm glad to see you reach podcast number 50. Pangolins have little sense of numbers, as our understanding of the world mainly comes down to whether there is a good enough supply of ants for tasty snacks. Nevertheless, I will take your word for it that 50 is a good number. It's not great, it's not fantastic,
But
it's good.
It's good.
It'll do. I'm also glad that your Nickelodeon trunk did not take off, as this would not only mean that I would not be able to commune with you, small earthworms, but it would also mean that you'd be in the untrustworthy and dirty paws of the merchandising mongoose.
Let's hope never to hear from that wanker.
I'm very upset because we are starting our own little merchandising endeavour in the next couple of weeks.
Look, if he gets in touch though,
I'm going to keep him at bay.
Put his emails in the spam filter.
Yeah, I will. I'm going to make a special filter just for him and send it straight to hell. It is a fate I would not wish on anyone. Now, as previously mentioned, I have no understanding of numbers and even less understanding of a monetary system. However, I have many ants, not fire ants. No, not fire ants. That was a little parenthesis.
Goodness.
And they are accepted as a form of currency in some parts of the world, including the pal who pays. This is like a Dan Brown riddle. If you were in like the Louvre, Audrey Tautou would say, but what can it mean, the pal who pays? And Robert Langdon would go, I think it's Elon Musk.
It's either a reference to the 1473 painting, or it could be PayPal. But let's check out the painting first.
So there are two moments in the Da Vinci Code film that have stayed with me, and one of them is where he mansplains what an anagram is.
Oh yeah,
and the other one is there's this plot point where isn't he basically related to Christ?
No, she is.
Yeah, that's the one. And because Jesus and Mary Magdalene in Dan Brown's head had a baby, and it was her, and she's also immortal. It's crazy. But there's this bit where it's like the crescendo of tension, and a character reveals to Dan Brown some information that is intensely troubling, and you can see it on Tom Hanks' face. He's not happy with it. And Audrey Tautou bursts in and she says, the thing you found out from whatever character it was. Oh, no. He says it to her. He's like, was it something about your past? And she goes, how could you know that? As if the alternative was that he's suddenly psychic. It is a fucking travesty of a film.
It is.
Angels and Demons, less nonsense in a way, but Ewan McGregor is trying to do what turns out to be a plot essential accent. And I think he's supposed to be Northern Irish.
Yeah.
He could not be further from the mark.
No, he wasn't very close.
No, he's very rarely close. I don't really understand why people tolerate Ewan McGregor, because he seems nice. But I've never seen him be good in anything other than Trainspotting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't got much.
You don't have any counter argument.
No.
You're not going to come out here and defend him.
No, not really.
Yeah.
I haven't got a particular attachment to it.
You're not a big fan of Obi-Wan.
No. Well, I'm not a big fan of Star Wars, so it's not my place to say.
Flowers for all.
I was going to say that the one bit of the Da Vinci Code film that has stayed with me, perhaps you could do a little impression for me.
Of Audrey.
Ian McKellen. When he when they're talking about the witch trials, and he comes out with the name of the book, where it's the Malleus Maleficarum.
The Malleus Maleficarum.
It's like he remembers he's really angry about it all of a
Fucking
sudden.
book.
Like Tom Hanks.
He's got fined on it.
Tom Hanks kind of brings it up, but without naming it, and he picks up a copy and tosses it down. The Malleus Maleficarum.
Fool of a took. Please enjoy the ants I've sent you. I hope they might help your podcast gestate like a little wiggly pangolin baby with fresh, squidgy scales.
It is good that both PayPal and Patreon have begun accepting ants, because it was quite exclusionary of them previously to solely rely on, what one might consider accepted currencies.
Yeah, it's just, it's a little disrespectful. I guess it's speciesist. Final email from Mark Stratfold. Have just listened to the special 50th show, commonly a golden anniversary, and you quite aptly chose this episode to go for the gold. Not as per the Henry Kelly 80s quiz show, but in a typical Isaac and Declan way, which is not only round the houses, but round most of the neighbourhood and perhaps some adjoining ones as well.
Mark, are you saying that an hour's long pitch was
overmuch?
Did we overstep a bit? I don't think
that's
so.
what it's getting at.
I mean, at
You
least
didn't say it was a bad scenic route.
no. At least half of that pitch was us describing a video.
Yeah.
So-
This is not the shameful part, he continues, but rather the realisation that I had not emailed for a while, brought home by your mention of the apparent drop-off in mails with the switch to a singular weekly episode. This for me was coincidental. Your halving in output happened to coincide with the step-up in activities at work. So it's good that our whining about people not getting in touch did.
Yeah, that they because last week I had to get an email that wasn't even sent to us for shame.
Yeah.
And then this week we've had 6.
Just intercept them from other people. I very much appreciated your kind words about my mails, so I've been prompted to write once more. I've just been on your Patreon site and will be looking to subscribe, and in fact has done in the intervening period. I'm just wondering which tier to opt for. I also note you already have 3 top tier subscribers. Supportive parents, perhaps? No, our parents abandoned us. They don't care about our show. It's almost like they've had 20-something years of this show every day. Oh dear. If I'm right on this front, I hope they appreciate their song, poem, letter and call. Mark here is pointing out that we've rather overcommitted.
Well, we were talking about this because certainly with regards to our higher tiers,
Yeah.
we never actually expected anyone.
Not in a million years.
We literally, while putting it together, said, I mean, it doesn't really matter because nobody's ever going to go for this.
So we made like $4, as in $1 an episode. We made that a good one because that's like an extra episode every month. And we thought that would be what most people would go for. And then the first 3 were all the top. So we were like, well, what we've committed to here
is
will
we've
take
got
up
to
the
do
next
a
year of our
song,
lives.
an
We've got to
Instagram
compose
poem.
a
We've
song.
got to write them a fucking letter. Post. We're going to do post.
Yes, but we it's fine. There are worse problems to have.
Exactly.
As a complete aside,
We've got to send a fucking letter to Australia. That's going to be.
How's that even
That's like a
possible?
month's rent.
bloody hell. Actually, I won't read this bit because it relies on a photo that you don't have. But thank you, Mark, and thank you to all our emailers. Thank you. It leads us with such a smooth
Did you
and
plan
gentle curve into what I'm going to call the thank you section of the show.
Shame thanks.
Cancel that one. That's a black mark on that project. But yeah, we're going to, whenever people patronise us, which happens quite a lot,
Yeah.
we're going to just give thanks on the show. They're producers now. And in order are 6 patrons so far. Bloody hell.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
First of all, Noah.
Yes.
Quick off the mark. Trigger finger Noah.
Yeah. That's
We call him.
well, let's not call it that. Sounds like he's going to do a shooting.
To kick things off. And
Yeah.
we were extremely grateful to you. Thank
were
you very
indeed.
much.
Follow.
As grateful as we were surprised.
Yes. Well, probably I was more surprised than grateful, but now I'm more grateful than
I
surprised.
was going to say,
Swung back round.
don't leave that there.
After which I believe was Kevin.
Yes.
Also very grateful. Thank you very much.
I know. Look at that. I mean, our first 2, we got the USA, got Canada.
Goodness, North America has really done well here.
Really like
Not
pulled
seeing
out all
many
the stops
Asian
for us.
donations. So have a little think about that, guys. You're letting your team down.
Laos, where are you?
Pull up your trousers, boys.
Have we got any Zimbabwean listeners?
Yeah, Africa's also not doing much. Europe, we only have one representation of as well, and that's where we live.
Goodness me.
It's almost like they don't want us here. We had then, I believe, Paul Chandler. I can never decide if I want to say Chandler or Chandler, because Chandler is in Friends, but the only person I know had a teacher called Mr. Chandler, and he
Don't you-
insisted on the other A.
How would you pronounce the shop?
The shop?
Like a chandlery.
I've never been to one.
Oh.
I wouldn't pronounce the shop. I wouldn't go to it. You've made me feel sick.
I'd go in and I'd say, you're an
spit.
abomination against God.
Yes, thank you very much as well. Last but not least, we have the pangolin. And then last but not least again, we have...
Where
Mark.
does it say the pangolin's from?
What's that? The zoo? No, I don't know. I don't think because because of the level, it didn't have to put an address in.
Oh, I see.
But yes, thank you to all 6 people. May it be known, our goal at the moment is to hit, well, let's see where we are. We're on 69 out of 100. When we get to 100, that's 2 episodes a week.
We only thanked 4 people, I think.
I said 6.
Yeah, but
Did I not?
no, we haven't.
Professor Matt!
Yeah, exactly.
I said 5 then.
You sure?
Well, look, let's just go through them again. Noah,
Good job that now we've got all this
Kevin.
money.
Pangolin, Mark, Paul, Matt. Hooray!
That is 6. Well done.
What a gang. What a team. And yes, as I say, we're on 69. That's far more than we ever thought we'd make
Ever.
in our lives. If it gets to 100, we're going to...
And we don't just mean from this show. I mean, professionally, personally, through investment.
And also, on top of that goal, like I said in the episode 50, like if we have cause or come across some sort of fortune hidden away in northwest London that means that we can go back to 2, then we will just change that goal. They're all subject to change. But thank you very much to all concerned. Now, we like to end the show with a few plugs. You could say that that was a big plug, and you're not wrong, but these are different plugs.
Here
These are
comes
not
some anyway.
social.
Yes.
Declan, if I were sitting at home,
Right.
pregnant,
You are sitting at
veritably
home.
pregnant,
You're not pregnant.
with content that I want
Oh,
to
I
share.
see. Well,
Maybe
you're
a
certainly
thought.
not pregnant with content.
Not often.
We know that much.
No,
Our
maybe-
listeners
maybe
very
I
much
had-
aware.
Some feedback. Maybe I had some questions. Maybe I had just a thought that I wanted to chuck out and bounce off the springboard that is That's a Shame.
You've got to
How would I
really-
get in touch?
Well, Isaac, there's a veritable smorgasbord
Ooh,
of ways in which you could send those thoughts, jettison them
Good.
in our direction. You could do so via email.
love an email.
Old school.
Very
Not
classic.
that old, but old school.
Not as old as some
nonetheless.
schools.
Not as old as Post that we've got to get involved with.
No. The snail mail.
We should set up an address.
A P.O. box?
Yeah.
Should we just do it to our flat? It's not like letters get delivered to us anyway. They get delivered to, like, downstairs, so someone's going to anthrax us.
Okay,
That's the whole building.
Anyone. But yes, if you did wish to email us, you can email us at TAS.
TAS?
Shape. Yes.
TASS. Oh, just the one S.
Just the one S.
Ah.
Because that's a shame, not that's
That's a shame show.
That's a shame show.
So just TA.
That's a shit shame. So just TAS. TAS at shame.city.
There's a contact form. I've
Yeah,
heard.
if you issued TAS at and you just went shame.city straight into the URL,
Yeah. Why not?
then it would take you to our wonderful website, which Isaac slaved over.
Oh, that was a long hour.
And it's a nice colour palette.
Thank you.
Classic blue, bit of pink.
Hot pink.
That dog,
That dog is
hot
not a
dog.
colour. Don't sexualise our cover art dog.
And there's a little description. There's a picture of each of us.
Yes.
And the most minimal bio we could possibly come up with
That's the
at a
one.
moment's notice. But there is, as you say, also a contact form
Yeah.
which sends an email winging our way. Also, through the website, there's a couple of other things you could access, isn't there? You can access shame.city/review.
Goodness, it's been a long time since I've remembered that we could get reviews on the show. Yes, that's very true. You can, if you're on an iOS device, pop over to shame.city/review, leave your 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars review, and that's good, isn't it? That will boost us in some ethereal, not quite realistic sense. But we've been promised that it will help, and it would certainly help our egos.
Yeah, we've been 5 stars promised that any kind of review, any number of 5 stars would 5 stars help us.
Yeah, all the way. Twitter, that's a place.
It's a hell of a place.
What about Professor Matt's Twitter bio?
Well, let's
today?
talk about this.
Because it's
I
hilarious.
feel like Professor Matt is kind of attempting to ride our coattails to Patreon fame.
When in actual fact, I think it's more likely
Quite
to be
the opposite, that
riding
we're just
his.
going to drag him down with us. Because Professor Matt's Twitter bio currently, because he changes it almost daily. I don't know if he thinks he has to, like it's a status update or something.
Why not?
But for today, at the very least, he has credited himself as a what's the
Staff
actual-
writer.
Staff writer.
That's a shame cast. It's so good. It made me laugh out loud when I saw it. But yes,
Isaac left his room to
did.
come and tell me about it.
a rare feat
It
indeed.
does not come out.
I was busy working on a Christmas arrangement of our theme, is why. More on that next year. 25th of December 2018 is going to be big. But yes, at That's a Shame Cast is the place for all your news, is a very incorrect term.
Wow.
Tweets, in the loosest sense. We've really been making use
We're
of
very
that
much the
280.
Reuters of the podcasting world.
You'll see photos, you'll see text, that's about it. Links and stuff as well. Other than that, Declan's at Cynical Declan. I'm at Isaac BD. Look, this has been episode 51, the first of what we're informally considering to be season 2. I thought of one change I'm going to make is I'm going to start putting links in the show notes rather than just our In Which stuff. But other than that, it's all basically the same.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to explain any further. You'll just have
you
to
already
see.
are putting links.
No, there are no. Oh, in the show notes of when you have the podcast on your phone.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the show description, I guess, is the
Right,
correct
that's what you mean, yeah.
term. But yes, this has been episode 51. I've been Isaac. You've.
Been Declan.
And we'll see you next week. Run!
Look for the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my big home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you. For the bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Forget about your worries and your strife. I mean the bare necessities, oh Mother Nature's recipes that bring the bare necessities of life. Wherever I wander, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder, my new home. The bees are buzzing in the tree to make some honey just for me. The bare necessities of life will come to you.